I'm back for, I believe this to be my fourth clip that God has moved on me to put out. Um, Now, the last clip I made a little bit large. I had to end up slicing it to get it onto Facebook due to the size, so ignore that. Um, this one goes back and touches on the last video. Try to keep one building up on the other, sometimes jumping around in the timeline, but hopefully explaining that so that you can keep up. I told you the whole spiritual thing with the family, my brother, about him being a physical born seventh son, me being a spiritually born seventh son, his religious or just beliefs in general go to dad's side of the line, and I lean toward my mother's, which is the light, which is Christ, kindness, love, things of that nature. But my dad had two sisters that were, I'd mentioned in the last video, was what I call angels of light. Women that and their families, they served their husbands, they wore long dresses, they never spoke about anyone else, they minded their business, they didn't gossip. Went to work, come home, they cook, they go to church, they go sit, maybe play a game of rook or something, sit on the porch at the family's, that type of people. Very humble. But one of them in particular, Aunt Vaughn, dad's sister. Now, this goes back, this is how God works. This has been many years ago. This Bible found me after my awakening. God starts leading me through things, and but I'll touch on that a little bit in this and tell you kind of how the Bible come about in my possession. But Dad died December 28th, I think, 1998. And on and on 11/8/98, exactly 50 days beforehand, his sister, my aunt, puts this Bible to me. This simple dates it to me and from who. Now, I note this Bible didn't find me 98, 08, 18, 20-some years later, 27, almost to be a fact there, but a couple years for my mom passed away. I'm going to say 5-6 years ago. She'd called and asked me to come pick her up and bring her over to the garden. A little bit out of the ordinary for my mother. Normally she'd call the girls or something. I said, sure. So I went and got her. Mom's real quiet. Didn't say a whole lot. Never has. On the way back, I could tell something was on her mind. First, she asked me out of the normal to come and get her. Not that I would ever refuse her for any reason. I would not. It was out of the normal. I knew that. Go pick her up. On the way back, we're getting close. We're only about 7 miles, 8 between one another. So go get her, and we're getting within a few miles of getting back home. And she said, Shem, she said, your Aunt Vaughn left you a Bible. She said, I've got it, and I want to give that to you. And me thinking the world of my mother, even more than myself. And just kindly, I said, Mom, and I knew the family's background with religion. I'd been to church, almost everyone that Dad went to. Even in my adult years, I went at some point in time. here and there. But I said, Mom, I said, religion's just not for me. I said, I see the ones that claim it. They're way worse than the ones out here I'm hanging out with on the street, basically. I said, I'm not saying they're wrong. I said, it's just not for me. And she's like, Shannon, you know there's a God. I said, Mom, I know there's something greater than I am, greater than all of us, to create us. I said, that's what I know. All right. I said, I just make you one promise. If God calls on me, I'll answer it. And I said, that's the best I can do for you. I will not believe anyone else, because everyone believes something else. Everybody thinks they're right. So it left it at a very nice, loving conversation that day. And it went on to this awakening happen. And I went over to my sister that collected several things from Mom's place when she passed. And there was that Bible. Because it come to me, and Mom told me there was one there. And once I started awakening, I knew everything started linking and leading to one another in each place. So went to the Bible, and then that's when I'd see it dated. Then it jumped out on me about the calling that Dad told Mom that God told him about him raising the dead in his early age if he had accepted the call and held the faith. And then when he fell, and 50 days before he passed away, my aunt, through the Holy Spirit, anointed me to carry that mantle by dedicating that Bible to me. And then it finded me 27 years later. Okay. 27 years later. That was in 98. I wake up in 2025 to the voice of God. So that's just another small piece there on what's leading me on my journey. Be patient with me. Very emotional, a lot going through this. It's very humbling to be able to tell this with such strength, control, light, love, compassion. But God bless you. And just stay aligned and stay strong.